Finally, Bane from The Dark Knight Rises has been released by Hot Toys, and now you have my permission to buy. Let's get started. Hi everyone and welcome to One Six Figure Focus, and in this video I wonder how many people are going to get triggered by that intro joke. It was a joke, it's a joke. I know you don't need my permission to buy. You can do whatever you want. Big boys and girls make their own decision. It was a joke, it was a line from The Dark Knight Rises. I merely adopted it, but seemingly you were born in the darkness. Alright, let's take a look at this. This is the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Bane figure from the Dark Knight trilogy, specifically from The Dark Knight Rises. So this is one of the greatest trilogies ever made. That's up for debate. That's I suppose, what would we say? Not a fact. That would be subjective. Subjective, that's the word I'm looking for. But it is my favorite trilogy. That is a fact. That is not up for debate. This and the Hugh Jackman yellow and blue Wolverine suit from Deadpool vs. Wolverine, which obviously came out this summer. They were my two most anticipated figures that I had on pre-order. Two of the most hyped figures that, yeah, the basically ones that I was most excited for over the last few years. So look, this one has been announced, I believe, at Secret Base. Well, look, Hot Toys have put up their Facebook post. I'm not sure if they put up their Instagram post yet, but it seemingly has been released in Hong Kong and inevitably will be shipping out from Hong Kong and available at Secret Base and all that kind of different stuff. I know my own, the person that the company that I buy through, Lion Rock Toys, are waiting on their Secret Base notification. So I'm looking forward to getting this from them. So shout out to Lion Rock Toys. Thank you very much. Hopefully this will be a quick one. So this is $314. It has gone to waitlist at Sideshow if Sideshow is your retailer. And again, from my analytics, most of the people who watch this channel are based in, well, it's actually bit of diversity now, but most of it typically is based in the States. So imagine a lot of you would buy from the States, the official Hot Toys North America and European distributor, which that is yeah, that's who Sideshow are anyway. So I want to flick through this. My initial thoughts, I've only had a quick look at this on my phone. I got up this morning, I went to the gym just before I went in, obviously clearly just before I went in, I checked Instagram or Facebook was, and I saw these photos dropped. They tend to drop on the Hot Toys official Facebook prior to dropping on the Hot Toys official Instagram. Sorry, but I just had a quick look at them, and from what I can tell, the figures turned out good, but I don't think the poses and some of the photos, so some of the photos and some of the poses do this any favors. Okay, so let's take a look at some of them. I like this pose. And let's face it, a lot of people are going to do this. Is it just me, or is his left hand bigger than his right hand? Maybe that's just the way it is angled or something like that. I can already see that joint coming through. Now, let's be fair. That joint was visible and prominent on the prototype images, so that is not a deal breaker for me. Would I wish it wasn't there? I would. But look, it is there. And this 2.0 Bane, which by all means is a true 2.0. What I mean by that is they've replaced the jacket with a non-pleather material. The last jacket, from what I understand, a lot of those figures flaked. They replaced the body here as well. For the most part, this is seamless. I mean, there's no comparison. The traps are more accurate. The chest is more accurate. The arms are muscular. The head sculpt has an improved sculpt and paint applications, from what I understand. You get a second jacket. Yeah, and look, the original Bane had all those joints, and it was quite skinny as well. It really wasn't. Well, it really wasn't that accurate. So by all means, hopefully, like, just what I can see here now, what I can see straight away is there's not just the fact that it's seamless joints apart from that wrist. Again, that wrist was on a prototype, so the elbow is seamless, that elbow is seamless. The physique looks so much beefier and bigger than the 1.0. It's not just that you can see the kind of crease here in the musculature around the shoulder area or even like the bicep area, but it's the actual texturing on the skin. Like it's in, and I can see it on the head as well, just a little bit of venation and stuff like that, and almost like pores. I'll just zoom in here a bit. Yeah, like you can see like skin texture on his shoulders. It doesn't seem to be just, you know, flat plastic. So the paint applications there and the sculpting and everything, whatever they did, I'd say it's just paint applications or something. It looks incredible. I hope it's not Photoshop trickery, because the detail here on the skin, like even like, do you know what it has, like when someone shaves their head, and then after like, you know, like a day or two, you can see the tiny little like the hair follicles, the hair starting coming through the follicles, and just like these little bumps. So it seems to be, you can see that what I'm talking about, like the texture in general, like the wrinkling on the forehead are obvious there. That kind of texture of the skin with the tiny little pores and kind of pimpling and stuff like that is there. Bit of venation going on the left side of his face. I think the sculpt looks really good. I like the mask here as well. And of course you have that texture in the skin. It's not just a flat skin tone. I guess, yeah, looks, yeah, so far those two photos, yeah, fine, good stuff. Good. I think this one's a little bit awkward. I can't really put my finger on why. This looks good. So this is pretty much the same base as Catwoman, or very, very similar. Very, very similar. But I don't remember him doing the whole WWE thing and picking up a piece of metal and hitting Batman with. I can't remember that. When I've seen this movie, I watched this movie like last week and I've seen it a million times, but like, I don't remember that. This particular jacket, I like the inclusion, but to be honest, I don't think I'm going to be using this. Okay, so obviously they're going to do another camo tumbler. They've done, I think, 2 tumblers at this stage, maybe 3, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they've done 2, well, 2 black tumblers. They've done the 1.0 and the 2.0, which I have in the next room, which I'm waiting to put in behind me. They've done this camo tumbler before, so it looks like they're going to do it again. I know Yoast Jazz Inc. Is at the moment getting feedback from his Facebook group, and he wants to do both the camo and the regular one and have the gun turret and stuff. But anyway, just looking at this here, I really like the proportions going on here. As in, just everything, like the silhouette, say. Like imagine this was just a black image, like with a white background, and just the silhouette, the proportions of the coat, the arms, the thighs and everything like that. It looks a bit, it's weird though, it's weird. I'm just going to put this out there. The first Bane 1.0, I thought looked pretty good with the coat on, you know, provided that the coat wasn't flaking. Because it hid those joints, and it also hid the skinniness of the body and the arms. So it was hard to tell if it was, it was kind of underscaled or really, really skinny. Whereas this here, I thought with the coat on, he'd look a lot beefier. Whereas here, the coat is fitting quite well. And I'm just wondering, it's interesting. I just thought he'd fill out that coat a bit more. I wonder if they've done a bit of Photoshop trickery there. Great shot. Really like this. That's super. I'm just going to move myself here for a second. Yeah, again, I just moved myself out of the way there, and if you see there on his left shoulder, so on the right of the screen, you can see what looks like vein work or scarring on his left shoulder. And I'm noticing as well the subtle texture in between his chest. Obviously this guy's jacked, so you can see the kind of the pectoral muscles on the left and right, and that kind of V, and the texture here on his neck as well, as kind of tendons and stuff there, and more vein work on his right shoulder. Really, really like the likeness. I believe this comes with separate rolling eyeballs function as well, because I don't think, please correct me if I'm wrong, I don't own the 1.0. Please let me know if you own the 1.0. Did he come with the separate rolling eyeballs function? I don't think he was branded a DX, but I could be wrong. This, as far as I know, does come with the separate rolling eyeballs function, an improved sculpt and paint apps, not just on the head sculpt but on the mask. 2 different jackets which are not made from pleather, so should not peel. You got the bonus jacket as well, but the star of the show here really is oh yeah, the base as well. I really, really like the diorama base, the one that came with Catwoman, even though this is quite similar. But it makes sense because I think they were both at one stage the opposite sides of, they're in the same place. What the star of the show here is the body, the seamless body for the most part, apart from that left wrist joint. I presume there's a joint on the right, but you won't be able to cover it up because he wears that, I don't know how to describe this, like looks like a wrist protector or gauntlet, we'll say. It's not a wrist protector, obviously, that's a snowboarding thing. Some sort of a gauntlet. But someone said recently that he comes with 2 of them, but he only wore one of them in the movie, I believe. But you could, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if he actually comes with a second one. Maybe these photos will reveal it. But that photo is great. I'm a fan of these photos so far. I don't like this photo, and it's because it really, really, really highlights that joint on the left arm. I mean, this guy here, off the top of my head, like the pose I'm going to have him in the most part will be wearing that coat. I love that coat. I think it's very striking. It's very synonymous with Bane, that big coat with the sheepskin and, you know, having his hands out to the side or something like that. Plus you get to use the accessory. It's an iconic look for him, and you get to cover up that joint as well. Yeah, and again, the joint is not a deal breaker because the rest of the figure is so good. But even that pose there, like there, the way that they manipulated that, I think it comes down to the posing with this figure. I think this figure is good, but there's some poses here, maybe some photos, which kind of almost highlight the weaknesses of this photo, and that would be one of them there. But look, at least they're showing you, look, the joint here, that's what it'll look like if you pose it like this. But there, same joint is there, it's exposed, but it's not as obvious because of the pose. Now, I don't remember here. I remember he had a scar down his back. But I cannot remember this much scarring on his right shoulder. I might flick over here. Now this is... Let's take a quick look at... See if I can get a close-up of his arm here. There's some vein work here on his right arm, but the top of the shoulder doesn't seem to be any vein work. Interesting. I want to see if I can move that on a bit further. Now, I think that will probably show me what I want to see. That's kind of lit up as well. So I can see there's a vein running here along his right shoulder, but I don't see not much scarring on top of his right shoulder. So, okay, they've kind of almost made the vein look like a scar, which is very unusual, not a deal breaker, but I don't know if they... What is the story with Hot Toys adding texture when texture doesn't need to be added? On the left hand here, you can see the vein work here. I do think this figure looks good. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this. I just think maybe some of the posing is questionable. Yeah, happy with that. Love that. And again, can you see what I'm talking about here? They've posed him because, like, let's face it, a lot of people are going to want to pose this with the coat. A lot of people are going to want to pose it without the coat and this kind of a pose as well, because this is, you know, probably one of the coolest parts of the movie when Bane essentially, you know, breaks Batman's vertebrae or back or whatever. But this is great because even in this pose, even though he doesn't have the coat on and the joint would be exposed, the angle here, you can't see it at all. So you're going to have to be clever with how you choose to pose this in order to get these looks. A lot of texture going on this right arm. I don't know what that's about. Now, it could be just the how the photographer chose to edit it, and maybe it's showing up this texture more so than it should be. Very cool pose, love that. I think maybe I was a bit harsh on these blogger photos initially. I'm not going to use that coat realistically. I'm just not. He's going to be with the vest, with the exposing that newly developed body or Fison body, whatever you want to call it, and he's going to be posed with this coat, which I think's amazing. I wonder did they just oversize the coat a bit more so that when he was wearing the coat, then it wouldn't look like he was bursting out of it and looked a bit more natural. That's a very strange pose there. Yeah, so this is, I think this, I'm not a fan of this. I don't know, just it's very, I don't know, it just kind of looks a bit, I think it's maybe the way he looks and then the stadium in the background. Yeah, just not a fan of it. I see what they're going for. So again, here you're getting a look at all the details. See the detail in the chest here. You can see some of the ribs there. You can see the divide between his left and right pectoral muscle. You can see a lot of texture on the arms again. Like it looks like it's venation. It looks like, you know, veins on the surface, but on the right shoulder it does look a bit like scarring, which I don't believe he had that scarring. And he must be coming with separate rolling eyeballs function, because I don't think they're in the same positions there, are they? No, I don't think so. I think a lot of people are going to be posing like that. You got the back cowl there as well. Yeah, you're going to have to live with that joint. I don't think that's a deal breaker. It's not the end of the world. I'll be looking at how amazing the rest of this figure looks. I don't get this. Is this like something I missed? Is there a point where he picks up a piece of the surroundings and hits Batman with him? This looks very, very WWE to me, but I fail to remember this part. I don't think that actually happens in The Dark Knight Rises. There you go. And that's something I can get behind. Okay, just you're using the accessories, you're using the base, you're using that coat, that newly developed coat. So hopefully that's not pleather. Hopefully it doesn't peel. They said it wasn't that. It was a newly developed material that shouldn't peel. It's not pleather apparently, but I'm glad now that they did that, so hopefully it won't peel. But I like that because you can incorporate the coat and you can incorporate the base. Something like that will be going for. I still don't think that pose is entirely dialed in, but it's probably limited by the amount of space on the little space on the space in the base. That's probably one of the better photos. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's one of the better photos. See, just his right knee slightly bent, kind of up on a slightly higher part of the tumbler, I imagine. I think it looks to be slanted. He's holding that broken back cowl. I know it's not canon or whatever, but very, very cool. The fist in the left hand. I just love the drape of how that, the fit of that jacket. The way the collar opens up and kind of, you know, goes around his neck, and the way it opens up and you can see that sheepskin part. It doesn't flare out. It kind of hugs in near him. I think the look of the vest underneath, the kind of armored vest or whatever, tactical vest, whichever you want to call it, with all the little straps and buckles, very, very cool. What I noticed, I couldn't help but notice this, like, see like the little red ties in Christopher Nolan's movie Tenet. There's a little red fob on a tactical vest on Robert Pattinson's character's vest at the end of the movie. I think that's I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a little Nolan Easter egg or to just use a similar costume designer, but yeah, he looks absolutely jacked. He's huge. Is the vest, there's something about the fit on the vest. I'm gonna go back here again. I just think maybe the vest on, like if you look at the vest here, I think the vest is a bit more fitted. I think the vest is slightly smaller on the prototype image, and I think it's slightly bigger on the final product. Now I know he's zoomed in there, so I have to take another look. All right, here you go, the scarring down the back. I love the detail on the back of the helmet here as well. These metal looking parts, probably not metal, they're probably just painted to be looking metallic, but yeah, he's absolutely huge. Like you can see a lot of muscular his back and his say the back of his his triceps and his back of his shoulders and stuff like that. The scarring looks great as well. Yeah, very, very cool. I mean, there's no question this is coming home. I'm still very, very hyped for it. I just think some of the poses and some of the images here are better than others, but overall, yeah, I think this is a win. I think collectors, I'd be surprised if the sentiment was poor. This is one of my favorite photos, just with the snow and everything like that. Just love the way that coat sits. I loved it in the movie and I love it in the figure here. I did have a custom version of this. I had a Fison M35 body, and then I used a Hot Toys Bane kit, not the stock exchange version, this version. But one of the things I didn't like about it is I felt that he was almost too big for the coat. And that coat is like an oversized coat, and he's a big guy, so it's like, to get it oversized, it would have to be pretty huge, and it is. I think they've compensated for that, because if they kept the exact same coat as the 1.0, then he would just be, because the body's bigger, it wouldn't look right. He'd look like the Michelin Man inside it. But I think they've done that well, because this shouldn't look like he's the Michelin Man inside, and I think it should still look oversized on him, even though he's a big guy. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. The joint is unsightly, but the joint was in the prototype. Definitely not a deal breaker. Love that shot. I love the kind of the tone on this as well, kind of like a bluish tone that I'm seeing. And there we have it, we've come full circle. So in conclusion, yeah, I think they've done good on this. I was hyped about it before, I'm hyped about it now. I cannot wait to get in the collection. Come on, it's my favorite trilogy. So now I'll have the DX19, the Heath Ledger Rooted 2-pack, and this as well. Rumors out there that there's a Cillian Murphy Scarecrow coming, so I wonder, will that be true? I'll probably pick up that Catwoman eventually, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's the end of the video. So this is a thumbs up from me, looking forward to getting it. If you want to support the channel, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let me know if you're picking this up or not. Actually, go on, put in your favorite quote from the Dark Knight trilogy. That'd be interesting, or even your favorite Bane quote. Also, consider becoming a channel member. We are doing a giveaway live on the Hope Show on Monday the 21st of October. And finally, oh, actually we have the Hope Show later on tonight if you're watching this on Monday the 30th of September. And yeah, consider following me on Instagram and on X. That's it. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Good luck.